The red alert siren screamed across New Haven Colony as another round of alien bombs fell from the dark sky. Marcus Webb pressed his hands against the command center windows and watched the orange explosions light up the night. 3 months ago, this planet had been their new home. Now it felt like their grave. "Sir, the eastern shields are down to 20%, called Elena Rodriguez from her console. The chief engineer's face was covered in sweat and dirt. She had not slept in 2 days. None of them had. Marcus turned away from the window. Outside, he could see the shapes of alien ships moving like dark clouds across the stars. The Saurian Dominion fleet had surrounded their planet completely. 200 enemy vessels against their small mining colony. It was not a fair fight. "How long can we hold?" Marcus asked. Elena looked at her screens. Numbers flashed red across the displays. "Maybe 6 hours. The main power core is overloading. If we push it harder, the whole system will explode." Captain James Morrison stood near the tactical display. His uniform was torn and bloody from the last ground battle. The Defense Force captain had lost most of his ships trying to break through the alien blockade. Only 12 patrol vessels remained from his original fleet of 30. "We need to evacuate the children," Morrison said. His voice was rough from shouting orders during combat. "Get them to the underground shelters before the next attack." Dr. Lisa Park shook her head. "The shelters won't help. I've studied their weapon signatures. The Saurians are using deep penetration bombs. They can reach us anywhere on this planet." The room fell silent except for the sound of distant explosions. Everyone knew what this meant. They were trapped. With nowhere to run, Marcus walked to the main communication console. For weeks they had been sending distress signals to Earth. The messages traveled through space at light speed, taking months to reach home, but they had received no reply, no rescue fleet, no help at all. "Maybe Earth never got our messages," suggested Elena. "They got them," Morrison said with anger in his voice. "Earth just doesn't care about us. We're too far away. Too expensive to save." Marcus wanted to argue, but he could not find the words. The evidence seemed clear. Earth had abandoned them. The colony of New Haven sat on the planet Kepler 442b. Over 1,200 light years from Earth, 50,000 humans had come here to mine rare metals from the planet's crust. The work was hard, but the pay was good. Families had built homes here. Children had been born here. This was supposed to be humanity's bright future among the stars. Then the Saurians came. The alien fleet had appeared 3 months ago without warning. Their ships were massive, dark things that blocked out the sun. The Saurian Empire was old and powerful, spanning dozens of star systems. They wanted Kepler 442b for its mineral wealth. At first, the aliens had demanded surrender. Their commander, a reptilian creature called Vex, had offered to let the humans leave peacefully. But Marcus and the Colony Council had refused. This was their world now. They would not give it up without a fight. The Saurians had laughed at human defiance. Then they had begun the bombardment. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Saurian flagship," reported the communications officer. Marcus straightened his shoulders. "Put it through." The main screen flickered and showed the face of Commander Vex. The alien's skin was dark green and covered in scales. His yellow eyes gleamed with cold intelligence. When he spoke, his voice hissed like a snake. "Human Administrator," Vex said, "your defenses are failing. Your people are dying. End this foolishness and surrender now." "We will never surrender," Marcus replied. "This is our home." Vex's mouth opened to show rows of sharp teeth. It might have been a smile. "Your home? You have been here for only 5 years. My people have claimed this system for the Empire. You are invaders. We came in peace. We built cities and farms. We made this world better." "You made it valuable," Vex corrected. "And now we will take that value for ourselves." Your Earth government does not care about you. No help is coming. You are alone. The transmission ended. The screen went dark. Morrison slammed his fist on the table. We should have evacuated months ago. Should have run when we had the chance. And go where? Elena asked. The nearest human colony is 800 light years away. Our ships don't have that kind of range. Dr. Park had been quiet during the alien communication. Now she stood up slowly. I've been studying their language broadcasts, she said. I think I understand their real plan. Everyone turned to look at her. The xenobiologist had spent years learning about alien cultures. If anyone could understand the Saurians, it would be her. They're not just here for the minerals, Park continued. They want to send a message to all human colonies. They want to show that Earth cannot protect us, that we are weak and alone. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. You mean this is about more than just our planet? Much more. If they destroy US completely, other colonies will surrender without fighting. The Saurians will take over human space without firing another shot. The room shook as another wave of bombs struck the surface. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Ground forces are moving into the residential sector, reported a technician. They have heavy armor and energy weapons. Our militia cannot stop them. Morrison grabbed his rifle. Then we make them pay for every step. Elena, can you trigger an overload in the mining equipment? Make it harder for them to extract the metals? Elena nodded. I can rig the excavators to explode. It won't stop them, but it will slow them down. Marcus looked around the command center. These people had followed him to this distant world. They had trusted him to keep them safe. Now they were all going to die because of his decisions. I should try to talk to them again, Dr. Park said. Maybe if I explain our position in their own language, I can make them understand. They understand perfectly, Morrison replied. They just don't care. To them, we're just animals in the way. The tactical display showed red dots moving across the colony map. Saurian soldiers were advancing on all fronts. The human defenders were being pushed back toward the main settlement. Sir, message from Sector 7, called the communications officer. They're requesting immediate evacuation. The aliens are using some kind of gas weapon. Marcus closed his eyes. In a few hours, it would all be over. New Haven would fall. 50,000 humans would be dead. And Earth would never know how bravely they had fought in their final moments. Send a final message to Earth, he ordered. Tell them we held as long as we could. Tell them we died as humans, not as slaves. Outside, the alien ships continued their deadly work. The last hope of New Haven was fading like the stars at dawn. 3 months earlier, deep inside Earth's military headquarters, Admiral Richard Stone stood before a massive holographic display. The blue image showed the entire galaxy with thousands of glowing dots representing human colonies. One dot was flashing red with urgent signals. New Haven is under attack, reported Captain Anna Cross, his chief of staff. 50,000 civilians trapped. Saurian Dominion fleet has blockaded the system. Admiral Stone studied the tactical data flowing across his screens. The enemy fleet was large and well armed. Any normal rescue mission would be suicide. But Earth had something the aliens did not know about. Begin Operation Deep Strike, Stone ordered. Send word to all hidden shipyards. I want every vessel ready for combat within 72 hours. Captain Cross hesitated. Sir, that will reveal our entire secret fleet. Once we show our true strength, we lose the element of surprise forever. The time for hiding is over, Stone replied. Humanity needs to take its place in this galaxy. New Haven will be our first real test. For 50 years, Earth had been building warships in secret. Hidden shipyards floated in the darkness beyond Neptune, far from alien spy networks. The Deep Space Fleet was humanity's greatest secret and most powerful weapon. Captain Mike Torres commanded the stealth reconnaissance wing from his ship, the TD Shadow. His vessels were painted black and equipped with advanced cloaking technology. They could move through space without being detected by enemy sensors. Torres, I need your ships at Kepler 442b immediately. Admiral Stone ordered over the secure channel. Get me detailed scans of the Saurian fleet. Find their weak points. Understood, Admiral. We'll be invisible ghosts collecting their secrets. While Torres prepared his stealth mission, Stone walked through the massive hangar bays of Luna Station. Thousands of workers moved like ants, loading weapons and supplies onto the waiting warships. These vessels were larger and more advanced than anything humanity had built before. The flagship TDS Redemption stretched over 2 kilometers long. Its hull was covered in armor plates made from alien materials recovered from crashed ships. Inside its weapon bays, new energy cannons waited to taste their first battle. Captain Cross joined Stone on the observation deck. The fleet will be ready in 60 hours, she reported. 2,000 vessels, including the dreadnoughts. But sir, it will take us 3 months to reach New Haven through hyperspace. Stone nodded grimly. Which means the colonists will think we abandoned them. They'll fight alone, believing Earth doesn't care. We could send a message, let them know help is coming. No, the Saurians monitor all communications. If they learn about our fleet, they'll bring reinforcements. Our people at New Haven must suffer in silence so that all of humanity can survive. It was a cruel decision, but Stone knew it was necessary. The colonists would think Earth had forgotten them. They would die believing their homeworld had turned its back on them. But their sacrifice would save millions of other humans across the galaxy. Meanwhile, in the Saurian Empire's capital system, Overlord Krath studied reports from his intelligence networks. The massive reptilian leader sat on a throne made from the bones of conquered enemies. His advisors brought him daily updates on human activities. The Earth government has made no military movements, reported General Sec. Their merchant ships continue normal trade routes. No battle fleets have been detected. Krath's cold eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Excellent. The humans are cowards as we suspected. They will sacrifice one colony to protect their core worlds. Should we proceed with the demonstration phase? Asked General Sec. Yes, let Commander Vex destroy New Haven completely. Make sure other human colonies see what happens to those who resist the Empire. Fear will be our greatest weapon. The Saurian plan was simple and brutal. They would crush New Haven as an example to other human settlements. When news of the massacre spread, other colonies would surrender without fighting. The Empire would gain control of human space without wasting resources on major battles. Captain Torres and his stealth ships arrived at the Kepler system 2 weeks after the siege began. His vessels moved like shadows through the asteroid field, their cloaking devices hiding them from Saurian sensors. Incredible, whispered Lieutenant Davis, Torres's sensor officer. Look at the size of their command ship. It's bigger than our largest dreadnought. Torres studied the enemy fleet through his ship's periscope. The Saurian vessels were old but powerful. Their weapons technology was crude but effective. Most importantly, they had no idea they were being watched. Begin detailed scans, Torres ordered. I want to know everything about their shields, weapons, and crew positions. The Admiral will need this data for the attack. For days, the stealth ships moved through the Saurian fleet like invisible spies. They recorded weapon signatures, mapped shield frequencies, and identified command centers. The information they gathered would be crucial for the coming battle. On the planet below, Torres could see the human colony under constant bombardment. Cities burned in the night. Desperate radio signals filled the airwaves as civilians called for help that seemed impossible to come. It was painful to watch and do nothing. Sir, shouldn't we help them? Asked Lieutenant Davis. Even a small strike might give them hope. Torres gripped his command chair tightly. Our orders are clear. We observe and gather intelligence, nothing more. The colonists must believe they are alone. Back on Earth, Admiral Stone coordinated the largest military operation in human history. Not just ships from Earth, but secret allies were joining the fleet. For years, humanity had been making quiet agreements with alien species oppressed by the Saurian Empire. Commander Zara of the Hive Collective had committed 50 insectoid vessels to the cause. Her people had been enslaved by the Saurians for centuries. Now they saw a chance for revenge through human alliance. Captain Nex of the Luminal energy beings brought 30 ships powered by pure light. His species had been forced to flee there home systems when the Empire expanded into their territory. Together we are strong, Zara communicated through her translator device. Alone, the Saurians crush us one by one. Admiral Stone nodded. This battle will show the galaxy that the Empire can be defeated, but we must strike quickly and decisively. If we fail, our secret alliances will be exposed and destroyed. The combined fleet gathered in the empty space between star systems. Human dreadnoughts flew alongside alien vessels and formations that had been practiced in secret for years. Different species working together for a common goal. Captain Cross ran final combat simulations on her flagship. The battle computers showed thousands of different scenarios. Most ended in human victory, but the cost would be high. Many ships would not return home. Admiral, the fleet is ready, she reported. All vessels report combat-ready status. Hyperspace engines are charged and waiting. Stone looked out at the massive armada floating in space around him. 2,000 warships ready to fight. Millions of crew members from different worlds united. In purpose. This was humanity's moment to step onto the galactic stage. Send the order, he commanded. All ships, jump to hyperspace. Destination, Kepler 442b. Operation Deep Strike begins now. The stars stretched into lines of light as the greatest rescue fleet in human history disappeared into the void, racing toward a battle that would change everything. The massive Earth fleet traveled through hyperspace like a storm of metal and fire. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of TDS Victory, watching the swirling colors of the space tunnel around them. They had been traveling for 2.5 months. Soon they would reach New Haven. Fleet status report, Stone ordered. Captain Cross checked her displays. All 2,000 vessels maintaining formation. Human ships are running at full combat readiness. Our alien allies report no technical problems. Stone nodded and walked to the tactical center. The holographic display showed their entire armada. Human dreadnoughts flew alongside the strange ships of their secret allies. It was the largest combined fleet in galactic history. Commander Zara of the Hive Collective communicated through her translator. Her insectoid face appeared on the screen, covered in shining chitin armor. Admiral Stone, my ships are eager for battle. We have waited centuries to strike back at the Empire. Captain Nex of the Luminal sent his messages patterns of colored light. The translation computer converted his thoughts into words. The energy beings stand ready. Our light ships will blind the Saurian sensors when the battle begins. Stone felt the weight of command on his shoulders. He was leading not just human forces, but an alliance of different species united against Saurian oppression. If they failed, the Empire would crush all resistance for generations. Remember the plan, Stone told his allies. We hit multiple targets at once. The Saurians cannot send reinforcements to New Haven if their other systems are under attack. Captain Anna Cross had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Her flagship TDS Redemption carried the most advanced weapons humanity had ever built. The ship's armor was made from metals found in alien crash sites. Its energy cannons could punch through any known shield. Ma'am, engineering reports all systems green, said Lieutenant Tom Baker, her weapons officer. "The new plasma torpedoes are loaded and ready." Cross studied the tactical data from Captain Torres's stealth ships. The information was 3 weeks old, but it showed the Saurian fleet positions around New Haven. 200 enemy vessels in a tight blockade formation. "They're confident," Cross observed. "Too confident. They think no human fleet can challenge them." "That's exactly what we want them to think," replied Baker. Meanwhile, on New Haven, the situation had become desperate. Marcus Webb crouched in the ruins of the colony's main building. 3 months of constant bombardment had turned their beautiful settlement into a wasteland of broken metal and burning debris. "Sir, the eastern sector has fallen," reported Elena Rodriguez over the radio. Her voice was weak from exhaustion. "The Saurians are using ground troops with energy weapons. Our militia cannot hold them." Marcus looked through the shattered window at the alien soldiers moving through his colony. The Saurian ground forces were 7 feet tall, covered in thick scales that stopped human bullets. Their energy rifles could melt through concrete walls. Captain Morrison's voice crackled over the communication system. "This is Bull Morrison. To all units, we're down to 8 patrol ships. I'm ordering the final defense of the civilian shelters." Dr. Lisa Park had been studying captured Saurian equipment for weeks. She worked in a hidden laboratory deep underground, trying to find any weakness in alien technology. Her research had revealed something important. "Marcus, I need to tell you something," Park said over the secure channel. "The Saurian soldiers have a weakness. Their reptilian nervous systems are sensitive to specific sound frequencies." "What kind of sounds?" Marcus asked. "High-pitched sonic pulses, around 18,000 hertz. It disrupts their balance and coordination. If we could broadcast that frequency through the colony's speaker system." Marcus felt the first hope he had experienced in months. "Can you rig something up?" "Already working on it. Give me 30 minutes. Above the planet, the Saurian fleet continued its methodical destruction of human resistance. Commander Vex stood on his command ship's bridge, watching the bombardment through the viewscreen. Victory was close. "Ground Commander Rex reports the humans are retreating to their final positions," his aide informed him. "Resistance will be completely crushed within hours." Vex's yellow eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Excellent. Record everything for transmission to other human colonies. They must see what happens to those who resist the Empire." The Saurian commander did not know that Captain Torres's stealth ships were still watching from the shadows. The invisible human vessels had been gathering intelligence for weeks, updating their battle plans based on enemy movements. "Sir, the Saurian fleet has moved into a tighter formation," reported Lieutenant Davis from the TDS Shadow. "They're concentrating their firepower on the planet's surface." Torres studied the tactical display. "Perfect. They're so focused on the ground battle, they're not watching for threats from space. Send this data to Admiral Stone immediately." The information traveled through hyperspace communication networks. Within hours, the Earth fleet received updated intelligence about enemy positions. Admiral Stone smiled as he read the reports. "The Saurians have made a critical mistake," he told his staff. "They've bunched their ships together for maximum bombardment effect. When we drop out of hyperspace, they'll be perfect targets." Captain Cross ran final combat simulations on her ship's computers. The battle scenarios played out in 3-dimensional holographic displays. Each simulation showed different approaches and outcomes. "The key is surprise," Cross explained to her officers. "We have one chance to hit them before they can reorganize their fleet. After that, it becomes a grinding battle of attrition." Lieutenant Baker checked his weapon systems one more time. "Ma'am, all torpedo tubes loaded with armor-piercing warheads. Energy cannons charged to full power. We're ready to give them hell." "Commander." Zara's hive ships moved in perfect coordination, like a swarm of deadly insects. Each vessel was smaller than human ships, but faster and more maneuverable. Her strategy was to overwhelm enemy defenses with sheer numbers. Captain Nexus Lumino. Vessels were the strangest ships in the fleet. Made from crystallized energy, they could phase in and out of normal space. Their light-based weapons could blind enemy sensors and overload their computer systems. "Admiral, we're approaching the target system," announced the navigation officer. "Dropping out of hyperspace in 10 minutes. Stone took his position in the command center. Around him, the greatest rescue fleet ever assembled prepared for battle. Human, insectoid, and energy-being crews worked side by side, united by their shared determination to save the trapped colonists. On New Haven, Dr. Park finished her sonic weapon just as Saurian soldiers stormed the science laboratory. She activated the device and watched with amazement as the alien troops stumbled and fell, their sensitive hearing overwhelmed by the high-frequency sound waves. Marcus Webb received her message with joy. "Elena, can you boost the colony's communication array to broadcast Dr. Park's frequency?" "Already on it," Elena replied. "Routing power from the emergency generators. The whole colony will be covered in 60 seconds. Captain Morrison led his remaining ships in one final desperate attack against the Saurian orbital positions. His pilots knew they were flying to their deaths, but they wanted to give the ground forces every possible advantage. The Earth fleet prepared to drop out of hyperspace. In moments, the galaxy would discover humanity's true strength. Space around Kepler 442b suddenly filled with brilliant flashes of light. 2,000 human warships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the star system. The massive Earth fleet appeared like thunder in the darkness, their engines blazing. Against the black void, on the Saurian command ship, alarms screamed across the bridge. Commander Vex stared at his tactical display in complete shock. Where moments before there had been empty space, now a vast armada of human vessels spread across his sensors. "Impossible," Vex hissed. "Where did they come from?" "Our intelligence said Earth had no major fleet." His tactical officer's voice shook with fear. "Sir, I count over 2,000 vessels. Multiple ship classes, including unknown designs. Some ships are not even human." Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of TDS Victory, watching the Saurian fleet scramble to respond to their arrival. The enemy ships had been caught completely unprepared, still in bombardment formation around the planet. "Open channels to all frequencies," Stone ordered. "I want everyone to hear this message." The communication officer nodded. "All channels." "Open, sir," broadcasting across the entire system. Stone stepped forward, his voice calm and strong. "This is Admiral Richard Stone of the Terran Defense Force. New Haven colonists, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. Earth has come for you." On the planet's surface, Marcus Webb heard the transmission through his damaged radio. He could barely believe what he was hearing. For months, they had waited for this moment. Now Earth's fleet filled the sky above them. "Elena, are you hearing this?" Marcus called over the communication system. Elena Rodriguez laughed with joy. Through her tears, "They came. Earth actually came for us." Dr. Park looked up from her sonic weapon as human fighters streaked across the sky above the colony. The sight of Earth's ships filled her heart with hope she had thought was lost forever. "Admiral," Stone's voice continued across all channels. "Saurian fleet, this is your only warning. Withdraw from this system immediately or face the consequences. You have 60 seconds to respond." Commander Vex's scales turned dark with rage. Arrogant humans. Even with their fleet, they cannot match the power of the Empire. "All ships, attack formation. Destroy every human vessel." The Saurian response came as a wall of energy beams and missiles. 200 alien ships fired at once, their weapons lighting up space like a deadly fireworks display. But Earth's fleet was ready. Captain Torres and his stealth ships had been waiting for this moment. As the Saurian weapons fired, the TDS Shadow, and her sister ships appeared from nowhere, their cloaking devices dropping to reveal them right among the enemy fleet. "Surprise," Torres said quietly as his ships opened fire at point-blank range. The stealth attack created chaos in the Saurian formation. Enemy ships found themselves under fire from vessels they had not even known were there. Communication systems jammed, sensor networks failed. The perfect ambush had begun. Captain Cross led the TDS Redemption straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. Her massive dreadnought absorbed enemy fire on its heavy armor while its main guns spoke with thunder. Each shot from her plasma cannons could destroy a Saurian cruiser. "Target their command ships first," Cross ordered her weapons officer. "Cut off their coordination." Lieutenant Baker locked onto the largest Saurian vessels, firing main batteries. Direct hits on their flagship's bridge section. Commander Zara's hive ships swarmed around the larger Saurian vessels like angry insects. Their small size made them hard to hit, while their numbers overwhelmed enemy point defense systems. 50 insectoid ships concentrated fire on single targets. Tearing through alien shields, Captain Nex's luminal vessels used their unique abilities to devastating effect. The energy beings could phase their ships partially out of normal space, making them nearly impossible to target. Their light-based weapons overloaded Saurian sensors and burned through armor plating. On New Haven, the human colonists watched the space battle with amazement. Captain Morrison gathered his remaining pilots for one final mission. "Boys, this is our chance," Morrison said over the radio. "Earth's fleet is engaging the big ships. We need to help them by hitting the ground." Support vessels. His 8 surviving patrol ships launched from hidden shelters across the colony. They were small and damaged, but their pilots flew with the desperation of men who had nothing left to lose. Dr. Park activated her sonic weapon at full power. The high-frequency sound waves spread across the entire colony through the emergency BROADCAST system. Saurian ground troops stumbled and fell as the painful sound disrupted their nervous systems. "It's working," Park reported to Marcus. "The aliens are retreating from the residential sectors. Their troops cannot function under the sonic bombardment." Elena Rodriguez managed to restore power to some of the colony's defensive systems. Anti-aircraft guns came online and began firing at Saurian ground support craft. The aliens had expected easy targets, not organized resistance. In space, the battle reached its peak intensity. Admiral Stone coordinated the massive fleet action from his command center, watching as human and alien vessels fought among the stars. The Saurians were skilled fighters, but they had been caught completely off guard. Commander Vex tried to rally his scattered fleet. All ships formed defensive clusters. Concentrate fire on their largest vessels. "We can still win this battle," but the Saurian formation was already broken. Captain Torres's stealth attack had destroyed their communication. Ships. Individual alien vessels fought bravely, but without coordination. Captain Cross pressed her attack on the enemy flagship. Her dreadnought's armor showed scars from Saurian weapons, but the ship's structure remained strong. Each exchange of fire favored the larger, better-armed human vessel. "Ma'am, their shields are failing," reported Lieutenant Baker. "One more salvo should break through to their main hull." "Fire all weapons," Cross ordered. The TD's Redemption's full broadside struck the Saurian flagship. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes overwhelmed the alien ship's defenses. Explosions rippled across its hull as critical systems failed. Commander Zara's ships had eliminated most of the smaller Saurian vessels. The insectoid fighters moved with perfect coordination, each pilot linked to the others through their hive mind. No human or Saurian commander could match their tactical unity. Captain Nex's energy beings had disabled the Saurian sensor network. Without their advanced detection systems, the aliens were fighting blind while the human fleet could see everything clearly. On the planet, Captain Morrison led his patrol ships in a desperate attack on the largest Saurian ground support vessel. The alien ship was trying to escape the battle, loaded with valuable intelligence about human defenses. "This is for everyone we lost," Morrison said as he aimed his damaged ship directly at the enemy vessel. His final attack destroyed the Saurian ship, but Morrison's own vessel was caught in the explosion. The brave captain had given his life to protect the colony he had sworn to defend. Marcus Webb watched Morrison's sacrifice from the command center. The colonists had lost a hero, but they had gained something more important. They had gained hope. The space battle reached its final stage as Admiral Stone's flagship, TDS, Victory, closed in on Overlord Craft's massive command vessel. The two ships represented the pinnacle of their civilization's military power. Around them, the wreckage of destroyed vessels drifted like metal stars. "All weapons target their command ship," Stone ordered. "End this war here and now." The Victory's main guns fired in perfect sequence. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes struck the Saurian dreadnought's shields, causing brilliant explosions across its hull. But Craft's ship was enormous and heavily armored. It would take everything. Stone had to bring it down. Dr. Park's sonic frequency discovery proved to be the turning point of the ground battle. As the high-pitched sound waves spread across New Haven Colony, Saurian soldiers collapsed. In confusion, their sensitive reptilian hearing could not handle the painful frequency. Elena Rodriguez watched from the engineering center as alien troops retreated in disorder. "Marcus, the sonic weapon is working beyond our hopes. The entire Saurian ground force is pulling back to their landing ships." Marcus Webb felt tears of joy running down his face. After 3 months of terror and despair, his people were finally fighting back with success. The colonists emerged from their shelters to help drive away the remaining alien soldiers. Captain Cross pressed her attack on Commander Vex's flagship. The TDS Redemption had taken heavy damage, but her weapons were still firing. Each shot brought her closer to victory over the Saurian commander, who had tortured their colony for months. "Ma'am, their main reactor is destabilizing," reported Lieutenant Baker. "One more direct hit should cause a cascade failure." Cross aimed her ship's most powerful weapon at the enemy vessel's engine section. "This is for Captain Morrison and all the people who died defending New Haven." The plasma torpedo struck perfectly. Vex's flagship erupted in a chain of explosions that lit up the darkness of space. The Saurian commander's last transmission was a scream of rage before his ship disappeared in a ball of fire. Commander Zara's hive ships had eliminated most of the smaller enemy vessels. The insectoid fighters moved like a deadly swarm, their coordination perfect through their shared mind link. No Saurian pilot could match their combined tactics. Captain Nex's luminal vessels continued their invisible assault on the remaining enemy ships. The energy beams could phase in and out of normal space, appearing suddenly to deliver devastating attacks before vanishing again. Overlord Krath realized his fleet was being destroyed. The massive reptilian leader stood on his command bridge, watching his carefully planned invasion fall apart. Decades of Saurian military dominance were ending in this single battle. "All remaining ships retreat to hyperspace," Krath ordered. "We cannot win this engagement." But Admiral Stone was not finished with the Saurian leader. The TDS Victory moved to intercept Kraft's command ship before it could escape. This battle would end with complete human victory, not Saurian retreat. "Overlord Kraft, this is Admiral Stone," came the transmission. "Surrender your vessel or be destroyed." Kraft's yellow eyes burned with hatred. "Never human. The Empire will avenge this defeat. Your species will pay for your arrogance. The only thing your Empire will learn is that humanity protects its own," Stone replied. The two massive ships engaged in single combat while the rest of the fleet watched. Victory and Kraft's dreadnought exchanged devastating fire, their shields flaring with each impact. It was a battle between the old galactic order and the new power rising among the stars. On New Haven, the colonists celebrated as the last Saurian. Ground troops fled to their ships. Dr. Parks' sonic weapon had turned the tide completely. The aliens who had seemed invincible were now running in panic from simple sound waves. Marcus Webb stood in the ruins of his command center, listening to reports from across the colony. "Elena, what's our status?" "Most sectors are secure," Elena replied. "The aliens abandoned their heavy equipment when they retreated. We can use their own weapons against them if they try to return." Above the planet, Captain Cross led a squadron of human ships to intercept the fleeing Saurian ground forces. The alien landing craft were trying to reach orbit before they could be destroyed. "Don't let any of them escape," Cross ordered her pilots. "These are the troops who murdered our people. They answer for their crimes today." The human fighters caught the Saurian transports before they could reach the safety of space. One by one, the alien ships exploded under human weapons fire. Justice for 3 months of suffering was finally delivered. Admiral Stone's personal battle with Overlord Krath reached its climax. Both ships had suffered severe damage, but Stone's vessel had the advantage of superior technology and fresher crew. The Saurian ship was beginning to lose power. "Sir, their engines are failing," reported the tactical officer. "They're dead in space." Stone could have destroyed Krath's ship with a single salvo, but he chose a different path. "Prepare boarding pods. I want to face their leader personally." The boarding action was swift and decisive. Human Marines, supported by Hive warriors and luminal energy beings, stormed the Saurian command ship. The diverse alliance that had saved New Haven fought together in the final assault. Stone found Overlord Krath in his throne room, surrounded by the bones of his conquered enemies. The massive reptilian leader held an energy sword, ready for a final battle. "So the human admiral comes to face me," Krath hissed. "Do you think killing me will end the Empire?" "No," Stone replied, drawing his own weapon. "But it will show the galaxy that your people can be defeated." Their duel was brief but violent. Stone's military training and younger reflexes gave him the advantage over the aging Saurian overlord. When it ended, Krath lay dying on his throne of bones. "You have won this battle," Krath whispered with his final breath. "But the Empire spans thousands of worlds. This is only the beginning of your war." Stone looked down at his fallen enemy. "Then we'll be ready for the next battle too." With Krath dead and his fleet destroyed, the remaining Saurian forces surrendered. The siege of New Haven was over. The human colony had been saved, and Earth's true strength had been revealed to the galaxy. Captain Cross landed her shuttle in the main colony plaza, where thousands of colonists had gathered to welcome their rescuers. Marcus Webb was the first to greet her, tears of gratitude streaming down his face. "Captain, we thought Earth had forgotten us," Marcus said. "Earth never forgets its children," Cross replied. "We're here now, and we're staying." Dr. Park presented her research on Saurian weaknesses to the Earth Fleet commanders. Her discovery would help humanity in future conflicts with the Reptilian Empire. Knowledge gained through suffering would protect other colonies. Alina Rodriguez worked with Earth engineers to rebuild the colony's damaged infrastructure. New Haven would rise from its ashes stronger than before, protected by a permanent human military presence. The victory at New Haven marked humanity's emergence as a major galactic power. No longer would human colonies stand alone against alien threats. Earth's full armada had arrived from the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same.